Today we celebrate the feast of the conversion of St. Paul. His original name was Saul of Tarsus. He was a Pharisee. In fact, he was a zealous Pharisee. So when he heard about the emergence of the followers of the New Way, as what the early Christians were called then, he saw this as a threat to the Jewish religion. So he relentlessly persecuted the Christians. But on his way to Damascus, he met the Lord. A sudden and bright light from heaven struck him, and he fell to the ground. And he heard the voice of the Lord, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I am Jesus whom you are persecuting." There are several important lessons we can learn from the celebration. First, Jesus identifies himself with his followers. Saul was not persecuting Jesus, he was persecuting his followers. But Jesus said, "I am Jesus whom you are persecuting." Indeed, Jesus has always been true to his promise. And behold, I am with you always until the end of the age. Second, after that encounter on the road, Saul did not immediately proclaim the gospel. Instead, he went to Arabia and later returned to Damascus to receive instructions and guidance from Ananias. It was only after 3 years that he went up to Jerusalem to begin his ministry. In other words, that encounter on the road was just the beginning of a long journey of conversion. Conversion is a long process. But conversion is just half of the story. St. Paul himself avoided using the word conversion in reference to that encounter with the Lord on the road to Damascus. In his letter to the Galatians, he describes the event not as a conversion, but as the moment of his calling. He used the words chosen, set apart, to proclaim Jesus to the Gentiles. In short, his conversion is directed towards one purpose, the proclamation of the gospel. From Saul, he became Paul. Taking a new name signifies new mission and direction in life. From being persecutor of Christians, he becomes the apostle of the Gentiles and apostle to the nations. Indeed, he went all over the world spreading the gospel of Christ to all nations. This feast reminds us that as Christians, we are essentially missionary. The faith we received is meant to be shared. And the more we share it, the stronger and the more vibrant it becomes. This is St. Paul's realization in his letter to the Corinthians. If I preach the gospel, this is no reason for me to boast, for an obligation has been imposed on me. And woe to me if I do not preach it. If we, as Christians, do not proclaim the truth of the gospel during this difficult period in our history, sooner or later we ourselves may be the next victims of the culture of death. May the Apostle Paul inspire us to be steadfast in our resolve to follow the Lord. And may his example of apostle zeal and courage awaken in us the sincere desire to share and proclaim the gospel of Jesus to a world darkened by sin, errors, and lies.